Usually, creating these things is the most fun part about my job, and it takes months, years, decades. I'm like 60 years old. No, I'm just kidding. But actually, I had one weird experience I'll tell you about. I actually created a trick in like 2 seconds one time. And the way that it happened was pretty odd. I was in an elevator, and I got to the 9th floor, and I looked around, and I decided this is a trick. I can use this as a metaphor for a deck of cards. So I was on the 9th floor, so I always use the 9s, and it works very simply. 4 cards will be like an elevator. Press the elevator up button, a 9 goes from bottom to top. It's really simple. You start with a 9 on top, it goes from top to bottom. You can try this too. I take a 9, I'll put it like 18th down, press elevator up, and that's perfect. 9 comes to the top. And you can try it as well. I'll put it at like 27, press elevator down button, and it comes right to the... Oh, I'm sorry, you pushed too hard. It actually went to the basement. I love it when that happens. Welcome back. All right, elevation. Elevation is the elevator card trick. The preeminent classic trick. It's everywhere. It's in every textbook on magic, every beginner's guide to card magic. But it's a great trick. Professionals all over the world use it. I use it. This is my version, and it came out of one little brainstorm to sort of take it to the next level. It's sort of on purpose, kind of a pat trick. It just sort of happens as one might expect it to until the end when you get a really impossible ending when it goes to the box. Completely impromptu, you get out a borrowed deck. First thing you do is as you remove the cards from the box, you leave one inside and you have to know which one you leave. So as I remove the cards with the faces toward me, I look at the face card. It's a 9. It could just as easily have been a 6 or a 10, and those would have been fine cards to use. Court cards aren't as good, but they work just the same. All right, so in this case, you just have to know what the card is inside the box. You close up the box, put it on the table, and you're ready to go. All right, so the best case scenario is you take the cards out of the box, you commit whichever card you leave inside the box to memory, and you go on with your show. You do a set of 3-4 card tricks, and you let the box sit on the table as comfortably far away from you as possible so that it blends in and becomes part of your surrounding, not something you pre-place there. That's best case scenario. All right, shuffle deck. You don't know what order the cards are in. You just know that there are 3 9s in this case in the pack. Before you begin, before you say you're going to remove any cards, all you do is you go through with the faces toward the audience and you remove the first 2 9s you come to. Now I casually sit back, and as I sit back, I tilt the cards toward myself so you can't see them, and I upjog any 2 indifferent cards, like these 2. And they're not going to see these cards, and they don't know how many cards you're removing, and they don't know why you're removing them, so it's completely natural to remove a group of cards before the trick starts. You keep spreading until you get to the last 9. You square up, lower your hand, and strip out everything together. Turn the deck face down, and now once again, almost as an offhand gesture, you now say, I've removed the 9s. You don't call off their suits, you execute an Elmsley count, counting the 9s together. Okay, so once again, that looks like this. With the deck in your hand, you peel the top card, execute the Elmsley count type action, and you've apparently showed 4 9s. Depending on how the deck is shuffled, you may not show 2 reds and 2 blacks, but again, it's so cursory, it's so offhanded that it really doesn't matter. Now you flip the 4 cards face down and deal them onto the table in a right to left row. Now the whole idea of the elevator card trick is that you're 1 ahead. But in our version, elevation, you are 2 ahead. You've got 2 9s, but you also have 2 indifferent cards. You also have 1 on top of the deck and of course you've got one in the box. So it starts off like the normal elevator card trick. You put it on the bottom, it comes to the top. You put it on the top, it comes to the bottom, and that's pretty standard. Now you take it a step further and you're going to address a spectator on your left. You put a 9 in the middle, of course this is an indifferent card, and say press the elevator up, and they get a 9 on top. And now you approach somebody to your right, conveniently near the box, and you say, and you, do me a favor, press the elevator down. And of course they do, and it's completely natural for you to set the deck on the box, but of course we know you have to do that for the choreography of the trick. You allow there to be some confusion and say, oh, you must have pressed too hard. It went all the way to the bottom, and that's the last 9. And you've got an impromptu, anytime, anywhere version of the elevator card trick with a really unexpected card-to-box climax.